Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I got an intuitive download that a lot of people in the collective right now are trying to move away from a certain situation that they've been involved in. Now I'm mostly hearing that it's a romantic situation, but it could be you're moving away from a certain friendship that no longer serves you, certain family members, whatever it is, take it as it resonates. But I got this intuitive message that people might need some guidance on how to let go and how to move on, like some um, guidance on the next steps for you to take in order for you to let go and move on into a healthier chapter of your life where you will be not only healthier but also happier. So that's what we're doing in this video. So on the screen, there are two pictures. So intuitively, pick which picture calls to you the most, like whichever picture just resonates with you. Don't think about it too much. Just let your intuition pick, and then go in the description box and you will find the timestamp for that picture. And when you click on that timestamp, then you will get your messages and the guidance that you are looking for. I feel like most of you already know that, like you already know how these pick a card readings work, but I'm just repeating it for anybody who might be new to tarot or who might be new to my channel. Also, I did do extended videos for both groups. So when you listen to your messages, if you feel like it really resonates and you want a more in-depth, more personal type of reading, then the links to those will be in the description box as well. So yeah, you can go ahead and take a second, pause the screen if you need to, and just let your intuition lead you to which picture resonates the most, and then go in the description box and click the timestamp and you will receive your messages. Okay, group number one. So let's go ahead and dive into your reading. So the two cards that I pulled for you are the slowing down card and the abundance card, but the abundance card came out in the reverse. So I feel like with the slowing down card being here, I mean, that's a pretty straightforward message. I think that for a lot of you, your desire to move on feels very, feels kind of rushed to me. It feels like you want to just hurry up and move on. Like you want to hurry up and remove yourself from whatever emotions you may be having about a certain situation. Like you want to be able to go through your day without thinking about the situation. You want to be able to go to your through your day without being emotionally affected by it. It's like you're ready to just move on and kind of forget that it happened or forget that a certain person exists. But what I'm hearing is that it might take a little longer than what you want. Like it might not be this really rushed process where you just put it in the past and like it's gone from your life completely. I feel like by trying to do that, it could put you in a situation where you could become very emotionally repressed. Like in order to move away from a situation so quickly in the way that you want to, it's like your emotions are going to need to be buried, and that's never a good thing because one of two things are going to happen. For one, what's going to end up happening is that your heart chakra is going to kind of close off. It's going to get blocked. And that's not good because when your heart chakra is blocked, it prevents you from being able to make genuine connections with other people, right? And a large part of your healing and moving on is going to involve you making new connections with other people. So you don't want your heart chakra to be, blocked off because you're emotionally suppressing things, right? Because then you'll only be able to make shallow, surface level connections, and I mean, that's just not good. That's not conducive with you having a happy and fulfilling life that you deserve, right? But then number two, what would happen is that it would come to the surface sooner or later. Like I, for example, had a situation happen in 2017 and I completely shut it out. I blocked it. I repressed it completely. Like I just suppressed all the feelings. And I kid you not, in 2023, something happened that literally reminded me of that incident and it all came up to the surface. Like all of the emotions that I had suppressed came up to the surface very intensely. And it was bad. It was really, really bad. And I didn't even know that I still had those emotions in me. Like I didn't even know that wound was there because I literally suppressed it from 2017 up until 2023. So what I'm seeing is that this process of moving on, it might be a little slow. It might be like taking it day by day instead of this rushed process where you just throw the whole situation away and you never think about it again, especially when this could be a situation where you were very triggered. This situation might have hit like a deep wound of yours, and you have to treat the emotional wounds the same way you treat, physical wounds. If your leg was broken, you wouldn't be able to say, oh, I don't have time for this broken leg. I'm going to just get up and walk on it and it'll be fine. Like, no, you would have to you would have to take the time out to let it heal, put it in a cast and allow that physical wound to actually heal, right? So it's the same thing with these emotional wounds, these emotional scars. It's going to take some time for you to let them heal, but I feel like if you just allow yourself to feel, and of course self-soothe as well, because these are very painful things that I'm feeling coming up. So I'm not saying to just feel the pain and just lay in the pain and like not do anything about it. Like I think you definitely should find ways to self-soothe, find healthy distractions for yourself and things of that sort, but just allow the situation to take its course, or just allow the feelings to take their course, and slow and steady wins the race is what I'm hearing. Like the people who will quickly throw situations away, again, in the long run, it does not benefit them because they end up emotionally blocked in their heart chakra, or they end up having to deal with the situation years later. So slow and steady wins the race. If you take this healing process slowly, then you're going to truly get over, the situation. Um, and just an example from my own life, because my guides are telling me to share this example. Um, just an example from my own life. I've had relationships in the past where we broke up, and it was a reoccurring theme for me that they always seemed to move on much quicker than I did. Like we would break up, and like within a couple of months they would have like a new girlfriend. They would have like a whole new life, pretty much. Like literally within a couple of months their whole life would like shift. Like I've had an ex who like flew to another country to like go and be with his new girlfriend like within like 3 months of us breaking up. um and that was painful. I mean, it's like when you go through those experiences where you feel like the person is able to just kind of throw you away and erase you and like run off on like this big romantic, new life. And again, this has happened to me multiple times. It's painful, and it always made me wonder, like, why is it that they can move on so quickly and I can't? Like, why are they permitted to just move on that quickly, right? But then what always ended up happening was that those situations that they would rush into would always end up falling apart. Like it never failed. It would end up falling apart, and they would end up like reaching back out to me. Um, or it'll end up falling apart, and I'll end up hearing through a mutual friend about how it fell apart. And usually what would make their new relationships fall apart was the same exact things that made our relationship fall apart. So I share that to say that when people rush into something new, or they kind of leave you behind and you're left feeling like, why am I left like in this slow healing process? It's because they're not actually doing the work and they're not actually healing. They're just rushing into a new experience in order to suppress, right? Like I was saying, in order to suppress. And because they do that, again, they kind of end up not in a good situation, and it might help them to quote unquote move on from you, but at the same time it kind of put them in another cycle where they end up not having a good relationship yet again. You see what I'm saying? So when I say slow and steady wins the race, that's what I mean. You might think other people moving on so quickly is like some type of superpower, or it's like it means that you're forgettable in some way or replaceable in some way. But in reality, it's because your journey is different, and you're meant to have this more slow paced healing so that you can truly heal. So that when you are in a new experience, it'll truly be a new experience because you will have changed from the inside out, and you haven't just changed your environment. These, like I said, I'm just, the message that I'm getting is just like, a lot of you listening to this wondering why people could just up and go and just completely change and just completely forget and move on, and you can't. And it's because they're changing externally. They're having external experiences, which, yeah, sometimes that's necessary to have a new external experience because it does help you internally. But if you're suppressing things and having external experiences, you end up in the exact same cycles that you were once in. You'll just be in a different place with a different person. You see what I'm saying? So I say that to say, and I hope that that's making sense, because Mercury is retrograde right now. So I feel like it's so hard for me to like communicate my thoughts clearly. So I hope that's making sense. Your path is one where you are going to be healing a bit more slowly than other people who you may have been connected to. You may be the person who it takes you a year or two to get over an ex, while your ex moves on within a month or two, right? And that doesn't make you inferior. It doesn't make you replaceable. It doesn't make you worthless. It doesn't make you forgettable. None of that. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the feelings that could come up when you are healing at a slow pace and other people are, zooming out of your life, right? You're none of those things. You are a beautiful person. You are worthy. You are valuable. You are lovable. And a large part of you slowly healing through this process is you remembering those things. This slow healing process that you're having is a opportunity for you to connect with yourself and to remember how great of a person you actually are, to remember how special of a person you actually are. And like I said, you're changing from the inside out. You are building like genuine self-love from the inside out, so that when you move forward, you will truly be in a new season and you won't just be stepping into a new cycle. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm seeing here. Now, I will say this. I do have to give this disclaimer. I do think that some of you do have to kind of step outside of your comfort zone in this process. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't have any external experiences. Just sit in your room all day and do like internal work and like meditation all day and things of that sort. That's not what I'm saying. I do think that a message that's coming through for some of you is that you do need to have new experiences too, though. But don't try to rush into like these intense new experiences in order to suppress. If you're going to have some new experiences, do it because your heart feels called to do it. You feel like it's going to be fun. You feel like it's going to be a good experience, because I do feel like some of you are needing to make new memories in order to, somewhat overwrite the old ones. And again, don't get that confused with, rushing and suppressing, right? Don't confuse the two. New memories are a positive thing, and it's not always about suppressing or trying to bury feelings. Sometimes new memories, they're helping to kind of shape this new path that you're laying out for yourself. Because like I said, I feel like your path is unfolding slowly, but even if it is unfolding slowly, it is still important for you to kind of think about the future and think about the person who you want to come out the other side of this as. Because whoever that person is, you can start planting the little seeds and having the new experiences, right, to match up with that. Like, for example, let's say, just a simple example. Let's say that on the other side of this, you want to be a more independent person, right? Like maybe you've been very dependent or very codependent up until this point, and on the other side of this healing process, you're thinking to yourself, I want to be a more independent person. Well, throughout your healing process, you can ask yourself, what new experiences can I have that aligns with that new identity? You see what I'm saying? That's totally different from just rushing into a new relationship or rushing to go do something wild in order to distract yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's completely different. That's more intentional. That's more like, okay, I know this healing journey is going to take me a little bit. Who do I want to be on the other side of it, and what experiences can I have along the way? What new memories can I have along the way that will help me to reach this new identity, right? So again, example, you could say, oh, I want to be more independent, and some new experiences or new memories that I can have, by being more independent would be, maybe going on a solo trip, right? Or just even exploring the city that you're in. It doesn't even have to be a faraway trip. Going to a networking event by yourself, like things like that, those memories or those new experiences are going to shape this new person that you're going to come out as on the other side. So it's not just about, oh, I'm just going to do this just so I can, suppress. You know what I'm saying? And just so there's no confusion, like, because I feel like I just want to make this very clear. Um, an example of someone who I would say didn't take this route and they just kind of like jumped into new experiences just to suppress what they were going through is this one girl that I followed a long time ago, and she went through a really, really bad breakup. And when she went through the breakup, her partner or her ex-partner moved on really, really quickly, and it hurt her so badly that she started performing in the adult film industry. And later on, she expressed that she regretted doing that because she only had that new experience of getting into the adult film industry because she was hurt. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference of like long-term intention of, okay, this is who I want to be when I come out on the other side of this, so I'm going to plan a series of experiences to reach that new identity versus just impulsively saying, I'm hurt, I need to restore myself, I'm going to go and do this. And that's what she did. She was hurt. She felt like she needed to restore herself, or like she needed to suppress what she was feeling. She didn't want to feel it. She wanted to just dive into a whole new life so she didn't have to feel it. And she ended up um, in the adult film industry. And later on, she said she regretted it. So, and of course, I don't judge her whatsoever. Like, I support everyone's careers, but I'm just giving you an example of the suppression. And I know for a fact that she was suppressing her emotions because not only did she express that she regretted being in the adult film industry, but she also expressed that she feels like she has no heart anymore. Like she can't connect with people anymore at all. Like her heart feels cold and closed off. And that's an example of the suppression. So, yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you. It's just like your healing process and the process of letting go, the process of moving on is going to be one that is somewhat slower than maybe what you see other people doing, but when you get through it, you're going to fully get through it. There's not going to be anything left you know, to unearth later on. And when you come out the other side of this, if you're intentional, if you set the intention of who you want to be when you come out the other side and you plan accordingly and you make, you have experiences accordingly, then, you're just going to come out the other side of this the best version of yourself, is what I'm seeing. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you. Um, I think that that's it. Also, just a message that I've been giving everyone, especially on Twitter: don't look back. Don't look back. Just because you're processing the emotions, you are, maybe having thoughts about the past. Try your best not to look back in terms of like contacting people from the past, looking at their social media. And I know that can be so difficult. And I need to do a whole video about how not to do that because that's something I struggled with in the past. Like I was a chronic social media checker. Like I would be on like my ex's social media page every single day, seeing things that would completely destroy my feelings and still doing it anyway. So I need to do a whole video about like the science behind that and how to stop doing that. But yeah, I just been giving everyone that message because it's been coming through to me so clearly, intuitively. Do not look back. It's going to set you back. It's going to set you back. And I know this firsthand because I've had experiences where it's like my healing process maybe would have taken a couple of months, and then I end up looking back at something and looking back on like a social media, or also at social media and seeing a post, and suddenly like a wound is hit from a specific post, and now my healing process has been pushed back, so now it's going to take a full year or a full year and a half because I look back. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not worth it, and try your hardest not to distract yourself as much as you can whenever you get that urge. I like to actually pray about it when I get the urge to look. I just immediately start trying to pray it off of me, and then I'll get up and go and do something else. Like whatever I'm doing, I will do something different. If I was sitting down scrolling on my phone when I get the urge, oh, I'm putting my phone down and I'm going to maybe pick up a book and read it in another room. Like I completely try to like shift everything that I'm doing. I'll change rooms if I need to in order to not act on the urge, and eventually that urge will go away. It's one of those things where you feel like the urge will never go away, so you feel like maybe I should just partake in it and let it just get the satisfaction and just partake in the urge. But no, it does more harm than good, and eventually that urge will go away. Eventually, the urge will not be strong forever. So just wanted to say that. So I'm going to extend this. Yeah, I'm going to extend this just to pull some additional messages for anyone who might need them. Anybody who resonated with this and you're like, you want to hear some more, you want to hear more in depth, I'm going to post some additional messages for you. So the link to the extended video will be in the description box below. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you over in the extended video. Bye. Okay, group number 2. So let's go ahead and dive into your reading. So we are looking at how you are going to be letting go and moving on from a certain situation. So the first two cards that came out are the laziness card and also the morality card, but the morality card is in the reverse. So what I'm seeing here is that for a lot of you, your lazy era is coming to an end because it's time for you to start putting your life in motion. And I think that moving away from this situation and letting it go is the perfect push that you need towards getting to where you want to be or getting to where you need to be. I feel like for a lot of you, you have goals, you have dreams, you have things that you want to accomplish, but you have been holding back on those things. And I mean, that could be for different reasons. Maybe some of you are holding back because fear failure. That's a very common thing that holds people back from going after their dreams. But it could be any reason really. 'Cause I'm picking up a lot of different scenarios for different people. So for whatever reason, I feel like you've been holding yourself back from going towards the things that you want, accomplishing your dreams, and creating, the life for yourself that you want. And what I'm seeing here is that this situation ending and you having to move on from it, it's like the perfect push for you. Like, yes, it might have been painful the way that the situation fell apart, or you having to let it go, like that could have been painful, but you can take this pain and you can turn it into power by using it to push yourself forward into this new life for yourself or into actually going after your goals. Like, let's say, for example, you've always wanted to move to LA and become an actor, but you've always given yourself a million reasons why you never could do that, right? Like, you've given yourself a million excuses of why it just wouldn't work out. And this could be the thing that makes you say, you know what? I'm in so much pain about this situation, or the situation is so hurtful. I need a drastic shift. So I'm going to go ahead and move to LA. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, um, follow that dream of becoming an actor. And any obstacles or any excuses that I made before, I'm going to find a way to bulldoze through them now because I am using this pain to propel me forward. You see what I'm saying? It's like I just see a lot of you really going after something that you could have been very timid to go after before. And now you're like, you know what? Nope. Now I'm just going to go full speed ahead with this. And I feel like you're going to be successful at it too. Like, I feel like you are going to end up succeeding because the energy behind it is so powerful. Like, your desire to transform and your desire to create a new life for yourself is so powerful that I just see you taking action and it working in your favor. So that's what I'm seeing. Now, what I will say is this though, because the morality card is here in the reverse, you cannot judge this part of you that still wants to hold back, because there is a part of you that is going to be resistant to this change. There's a part of you that's like, no, like, I don't want to go after my dreams. I don't want to put 100% into it. I just don't want to do it. Like, there's a part of you that's really, really resistant. And if you start to judge that part of yourself and try to force that part of yourself to move forward, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. You're going to be met with even more resistance and you're going to be fighting yourself to the point where it's just going to be draining. You know what? I feel like I'm going to link a video in the description box because I feel like this video that I watched is literally, it perfectly describes what I'm seeing in your reading. Basically, there's a psychologist on YouTube that talks about self-sabotage, and she talks about how there's two parts of us, right? There's a part of us that wants to keep us safe, and then there's a part of us that wants to go after our goals and our dreams and things like that, right? So that part of us that wants to keep us safe, it says, if we go after our goals and dreams, then all these bad things could happen, right? We could end up failing. We can end up feeling embarrassed or ashamed because we didn't make it. Like, that part of you can say all of these things about what could go wrong, but then there's that other part of you that's like, no, I want to follow my dreams. Like, I want my life to be fulfilling. So these two parts of you are fighting each other, right? And basically in the video, she breaks down how to get those two parts of yourself to stop fighting, how to come to a compromise between those two parts of yourself, right? So I'm going to link that video down below so you can watch it, because I feel like that's what's coming up in this. Like, instead of you trying to fight that part of yourself that is, holding you back because you think that part of yourself is like an enemy of some sort, but it's not. It's a part of you that is trying to keep you safe, because it's a part of you that has thought of all the ways that this could go wrong. Like, it has thought of, okay, what if I go and pursue this and I fail? That feeling of failure is so intense. Like, that feeling of shame and failure and things like that is so intense. I don't want to experience that. I don't want you to experience that. So I'm going to hold you back from even trying. Like, that's what that part of you is doing. When you have those days where you want to go after your goals, you want to be productive, but instead this is like this part of you that's saying, no, 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 stay in the bed. Just stay in the bed and sleep all day, or just stay in the bed and scroll on TikTok all day. That part of you is not an enemy. That part of you is trying to keep you safe because it sees some sort of danger in terms of like you failing and things of that sort. So it's up to the other part of you to compromise with this part of you to say, no, we're safe. It's okay. We can go ahead and go after our goals. Even if we fail, we can get up and try again. Even if, something goes wrong, we have the tools, the emotional tools to handle it. You see what I'm saying? It's like you have to make a compromise between those two parts of yourself. Anyway, I'll leave the link to that video in the description box down below so you can go and check that out. But yeah, because that's what I'm seeing for you, is you moving into this era of your life where you're really going after the things that you want in life. And that is what's going to help you to fully let go and fully help you to move on from, whatever situation you are trying to move on from. And again, you just cannot judge yourself harshly. It's not going to work in your favor. It's going to do the opposite. It's going to make you like even more resistant. It's going to make you shut down even more. I also pulled the inner voice card and the outsider card as clarifiers. So what I'm seeing here, oh, I hate this card, this outsider card. It's just so sad. It's like a picture of like a child that's like locked out of the house, or like locked out of a home. It's a really sad picture because it depicts like your inner child feeling abandoned, rejected, forgotten, ignored, just very extreme emotional neglect. Yeah, I really hate that card, but this card is coming out for you along with the inner voice, and I feel like what these two cards are saying is that you moving on is going to require a lot of inner child work as well. It's not just going to be you getting up and, chasing after your dreams and now you've moved on. Because I feel like your inner child is that part of you it's kind of holding you back. I feel like your inner child is like very sensitive. Your inner child's been through a lot of neglect, a lot of hardship, a lot of abandonment and things like that. So it's like your inner child is very sensitive. So I feel like your inner child is that part of you that's afraid. It's afraid to move towards these bigger goals or bigger dreams. And I think that your inner child needs a lot of love, care, and attention in order for you to even feel comfortable enough to go after these goals and dreams. You see what I'm saying? Remember I said there's like a part of you that is making you procrastinate or holding you back because that part of you wants to keep you safe? I feel like that's your inner child. And your inner child is, I feel, holding you back because this part of you is so sensitive because of just all of the neglect and the abandonment and the rejection and all of that. So I feel like you moving on and letting go of this past situation, a lot of it has to do with inner child work as well. That's what I'm seeing. And you know what? I feel like whatever situation you were in your inner child has a strong attachment to that situation. And so that may need to be addressed as well. It's like if you try to just rip yourself away from that situation and you're just like, we're moving on, bye, like we're not staying there anymore. Just kind of picture doing that to a child. Like picture like a child like you're really attached to a parent or something, and you just scoop the child up one day and like, yeah, we're leaving and you're never gonna see your parent again. Say goodbye. Like imagine how much of a fit that child would have. Imagine how painful it would be to that child. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful of that. When you're moving away from this situation, be mindful of your inner child. Don't be so harsh with yourself. Don't be so like, all right, that situation's over, whatever, we gotta move on. Like, I understand like that's something that I feel like we naturally try to do because we just want to be strong. We just want to say, you know what, that's fine. I'm just moving on. Especially if it's like a situation where you've been hurt or like the person hurt you really badly, or maybe the person moved on already, or maybe you feel like they forgot about you. Like it's natural to be like, you know what, that's fine. That's fine. I'm moving on. Whatever. Like I'm not about to dwell on this. Like they're not thinking about me. I'm not thinking about them. It's whatever. It's so easy to fall into that because we don't want to feel vulnerable. Like we in that situation, we just want to feel like we're empowered and we want to just move on. But again, you have to think about your inner child. Your inner child is very sensitive. And again, think about it as your inner child is connected to that situation. Your inner child is connected to that person. So you ripping your inner child away and being like, nope, whatever, it's whatever. Like, yeah, that's painful for your inner child. So I feel like you have to give your inner child a lot of like care and a lot of nurturing and a lot of like love. And I think that will actually help you to be able to move on in a healthy way. It's like the more cared for your inner child feels, the less resistant your inner child is going to be to leaving. See what I'm saying? Like picture a child. Again, picture this in your mind. You as a child, and you're about to get separated from your parents for whatever reason. Maybe your parents are just not good people. And again, I'm not talking about real life parents. This is just a visualization to help you, just to help illustrate my point. And let's say like for whatever reason, your parents are just not good people. They're hurting you. They're whatever. And it's time for you to go, So you're going to go and pick up your inner child and move your inner child away from your parents, right? But instead of just snatching your inner child away, wouldn't it be better to like, bend down and say, hey, get down to the level of your inner child, look them in the eye and say, hey, we're going to go somewhere more safe. Like we're going to go somewhere that is where you're not going to be hurt anymore. Don't worry. Like I'm going to take care of you. Wouldn't that be a much easier transition than to just come and like snatch the child out of the house and be like, we're going, like you're never seeing these people again. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. It's like, be a bit more gentle with yourself in this process. Um, be a bit more loving, compassionate, and caring with yourself in this process of moving on because your inner child was connected to this situation. So don't shame yourself, don't beat yourself up because you're still clinging to the situation or because like you still think about it or because you can't just move on and turn your feelings off because your inner child is just sensitive. You're just a sensitive soul and you just need a lot of love and a lot of nurturing and a lot of compassion. And I feel like that is going to be the way that's what's going to be the thing that actually helps you to move on, believe it or not. Some of you might be thinking that it's the opposite. Like you might be thinking if you're too compassionate with yourself, if you're too nurturing with yourself, like it's going to enable you to kind of stay in the same place. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. The more nurturing you are and compassionate you are with yourself, I feel like the easier it's going to be for you to move forward. You know, if you can find the perfect balance between nurturing yourself and healing your inner child, and also, taking action towards your dreams, if you can find the perfect balance between the two, then I feel like this transition is going to be a great one. This transition into this new chapter of your life is going to be a great one, but you have to be gentle with yourself. You have to be. This chapter that's closing in your life, it was one that was significant to you. So thinking that it's supposed to just fall away from you or like you're just not supposed to care, like, that's not how it works. And again, you could be looking outside of yourself, like you could be looking at other people and thinking, well, they just moved on or they don't seem like they care. And everybody is just, everyone's different. Everyone's built different. Some people are so emotionally repressed and emotionally shut down that yeah, they can move on quickly because their heart was never open in the first place. Like they're kind of moving through life in a sort of like robotic way, you know, and you shouldn't compare yourself to those types of people because your heart is different from those types of people. You know, if you are a sensitive soul, you were made that way for a reason, and you shouldn't compare yourself to those who are not cut from that cloth or those who are not made that way, you know, because you're on your own journey, you're on your own path, and you were made, again, you were made a more sensitive being for a reason. So that's what I'm seeing for you. Um, yeah, I'm going to extend this video. Also, one more thing that I'm hearing is your intuition. A large part of the reason why you are such a sensitive soul is because this lifetime you are meant to follow your intuition through life. Like your intuition is supposed to be your guide through life. People who are not connected with their heart, people who are more closed off, they are not in touch with their intuition. It's hard for them to receive intuitive downloads. The more sensitive you are, the easier it is for you to get intuitive downloads. So because you are a sensitive person, you have a sensitive soul, you know, you can really benefit from listening to your intuition. Your intuition is going to be the thing that guides you directly out of this situation, right? Like you're trying to transition out of this situation. You're trying to move on. You're trying to let go. And you could be trying to sit and think with your mind of, okay, how am I going to move on from this? How am I going to let go of this? Um, but your mind sometimes can't come up with the proper answers, or your mind won't always guide you in the right direction. Sometimes you'll just sit and brainstorm and your mind will just go on a loop all day. So what you can do instead is to quiet your mind, like with meditation, going for a walk. Some people go for a drive, you know, whatever you do to quiet your mind, right? And wait for those intuitive downloads to come through to you to tell you what your next move is or to tell you exactly what you should do. So if you're stuck, I recommend doing that because, again, you were created as a sensitive soul for a reason and you have these intuitive gifts for a reason. So use them to your advantage. You know, like if I was not using my intuitive gifts to my advantage, you wouldn't even be listening to this right now. You see what I'm saying? It's like when you use your intuitive gifts and you let your intuition guide you, great things can happen, you know? And us as sensitive souls, sometimes we compare ourselves to people who are a bit more closed off. We see them as a bit more powerful because, oh, they're able to shut down, they're able to move on. How come I can't do that? But instead of trying to look at what they're doing, we should be looking at our own gifts that we have as sensitive people and utilizing them to help us move forward. You know, don't look at it as they're moving forward so quickly, why can't I? Instead, ask yourself, what gifts do I have that can help me move forward? And that's your intuitive gifts. You see? So listen to your intuition because it's going to take you in the right direction. You know, maybe your intuition will tell you, you know, what the first step is towards that goal that you've been wanting to reach. Your intuition can be the thing that tells you, okay, take this step towards that goal. And then you take that step, and then next thing you know, another step is revealed to you, and another step is revealed to you. Like maybe the whole plan is not revealed just yet, but the steps can start to be revealed to you one by one. And that can ultimately help you to move on and move forward from the situation and let go, you know? So that's what I'm seeing for you. Be careful of your inner voice as well. Again, your critic, your inner critic, if it's too harsh, that's going to keep you stuck. It's doing the opposite of what you're thinking. You think being harsh is going to like get everything in gear and get you going, but it's doing the direct opposite of what you think. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and extend this for those of you who resonated with this and you want more in-depth messages. I'm going to go ahead and extend this. So the link to the extended will be in the description box down below. I really hope that this was helpful, and I will see you guys over on the extended.